Welcome to episode 12 of Paddy and the Yank podcast. Hello, Paddy. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
I'm having deja vu. It feels like this is the second time I saw you today.
Yeah, I know.
Strange.
This feels like the second time I've saw you today.
It might have been something about St. Patrick's Hole.
That was the last episode.
Yeah.
That was a very interesting episode.
It was a very interesting
Yeah,
episode.
man.
I enjoyed that a lot. Can't wait to go.
Yeah, me intrigued. That was very entertaining, I gotta say.
Excellent. So, do you have something to get us started?
It's just a little, like a little article I seen on this this page on Instagram called Weird History.
Beautiful.
This is a really cool page. They have some mental shit on this.
What's it called? One more time. I'm sorry.
Weird History. So
Weird History.
Weird_history. This is what this little article said. It said, in 1847, Robert Liston performed an amputation in 25 seconds, operating so quickly that he accidentally amputated his assistant's fingers as well. Both the patient and the assistant later died from sepsis.
Sepsis.
Yeah.
What's sepsis?
So sepsis is the body's response to an infection, and it's life-threatening. Like, you can die from fucking sepsis. Obviously, this dude here died from sepsis. Let me try and find a definition of it here. Hold on one second now.
Take your time, baby.
Okay, so sepsis is the body's extreme response to an infection. It is a life-threatening medical emergency. Sepsis happens when an infection you already have triggers a chain reaction throughout your body. Infections that lead to sepsis most often start in the lung, urinary tract, skin, or gastrointestinal tract.
Oh, the GI tract.
So stay away from fucking sepsis if you want to survive. So anyways, this doctor, or this surgeon, he performed an amputation in 25 seconds, and he operated so quickly that he accidentally amputated his assistant's fingers as well, and the patient and the assistant later died from sepsis. And a spectator reportedly died of shock. So this resulted in the only known surgical procedure that had a 300% mortality rate. What?
Oh my God! Somebody died from shock from observing.
So this surgical procedure, it had a 300% mortality rate. That's crazy.
That's very crazy.
That's mad. That's all I got. That's my little story. Check them out. Weird_history on Instagram. Very entertaining.
Weird_history.
Yeah, they're on Instagram.
Cool. All right, so what we're doing here is we're touching on some different biohacking subjects and topics. We're also going to clear up the air from a last podcast about oil. Just wanted to correct a couple things. Boom. So first thing I want to talk about are sardines.
Okay.
Yeah. You like them?
I don't have hate for sardines. They've never done nothing wrong to me or my family or any of my loved ones. So I'm neutral with sardines.
Neutral sardines. Dude,
Yeah.
we grow up in the U.S. with a strong adversity to sardines and anchovies.
You guys are so racist that you're even racist against fish.
Dude, that is 100% true.
Look at them sardines down there, those sons of bitches. What?
Racism is a part of our culture. Yeah, it's built in so deep we don't even like black fish. Oh man.
Oh, that's crazy.
I mean, I'm not racist, but it's a part of our fabric. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately.
So I got an interesting little fun fact. Sardines. You know where sardines come from?
The ocean.
Sardinia, an island in Italy.
Really? So that's where
Yeah.
they're native to.
I guess, or maybe that's where they first got named, or that's where they're native, or that's where they're indigenous to.
Cool.
But yeah, an island in Italy.
Never knew that.
So I guess the reason I want to talk about it is because they're so hated on. They are a discriminated species. People hate them. And I feel bad for these little guys, and I wanted to learn some nutritional information.
So
about
sardines are like the fish that come in a can, right?
Correct.
A little tin.
Tiny fish. Because I think previously we talked about mercury poisoning. Tony Robbins had mercury poisoning because he was eating salmon 2 to 3 times a day.
Man.
Mercury poisoning is a pretty serious thing. Do you remember we talked about before where the mercury comes from?
The mercury comes from something that enters the water, right?
It was volcanic eruptions, and then also human factories, and the mercury goes into the air goes into the water, and then that I think goes into the plankton, and then the fish eat the plankton, or maybe they don't eat the plankton, but just it goes into the water, and then they just absorb it from the water. So the mercury is coming from us, but it's also coming from volcanic eruptions and stuff like that. Cool. So another little fun fact, they have organs called lateral lines that allow a school of sardines to synchronize their swimming. When I read that, you know what it got me thinking? People in Taiwan driving scooters. I wonder if we have lateral lines, because sometimes we swim as if we're a school together, moving the left and right and straight forward.
That's very true, you know.
We're almost like a school of sardines when we drive our scooters.
That's very, very true.
Yeah.
A big bunch of Taiwanese people on the highway driving their scooters together, weaving in and out of traffic in a synchronized way. Very similar to a school of fish swimming around.
Big time, big time. So I was eating cans of tuna. Then I found out cans of tuna are high in mercury. So then I switched to sardines. Started eating sardines. But then I was like, wait a second, why did I switch to sardines? I don't even know why I'm eating sardines. I know they're healthy, but I don't know why I'm eating them. So I had to do a little bit of research.
All right.
So when you eat the sardines, you're eating the skin and the bones. But the bones are so tiny that like you don't feel the crunch, nothing like that. They're so tiny you can just chew them and digest them.
Not like eating the bones of a newborn baby.
Yeah, I suck those things dry.
You feel
baby.
those. You feel the crunch on that, huh?
But you know when you're eating salmon, right? And it sucks, man. You're constantly picking those bones out of your mouth, and
Yank,
it can get irritating.
You know
I'm on first world privilege.
You know I'm not as well off and as wealthy as you.
Oh my!
I haven't even
ashamed to be American.
I ain't even seen salmon in about 15 years. Never mind eating it.
I hate picking bones out of my mouth when I'm eting salmon.
Oh, you poor privileged person!
Oh
you.
my God, these are first world problems.
You big Will Smith slapping Chris Rock privileged person, you.
Oh, I need a drink. You're stressing me out. So, okay, so mercury's bad, right? It's a metal. It's bad. We don't want it.
Mercury's bad.
Sorry, cut that shit out. When you eat the sardines, you eat the skin and the bones. Yep. So eating the bones, what do you think you're getting?
Bone. I'm bone.
What?
I'm bone marrow.
What vitamin do you think you're getting
from eating bones?
Yeah.
Vitamin D?
No.
Vitamin B?
No.
Vitamin C?
No.
Vitamin A?
No.
Vitamin G?
No.
Vitamin H? I will go through this alphabet until I get it.
Vitamin C-A. Calcium.
Hybrid.
Obviously, that makes sense, right? People take calcium for their bones. So it's a good source of calcium, and 1 can of sardines, or 4 sardines, provides a third of the amount needed by the average person per serving. So sardines are a really, really good source of calcium, and they actually have more vitamin D than they have calcium. And if you take calcium by itself, your body actually can't absorb it. So for any of the listeners back there, if you have a calcium supplement you're taking, you can look at it right now, and you will probably see vitamin D on there because our bodies cannot absorb calcium without vitamin D. Vitamin D is like the transistor nutrient. I said that really bad, but
so in that case, I imagine most vitamin D pills come with, I forget what you just said.
Calcium supplements must contain vitamin D because your body cannot absorb calcium without vitamin D. Right. We've already talked about the risks of popping pills, right? They don't have a black pepper extract. Okay. They don't have an oil in them. If they don't, your body can't really absorb it. But coconut oil enhances the absorption of everything. Vitamin D enhances the absorption of calcium.
So calcium and vitamin D go together like birds of a feather.
Yeah.
That's basically what you're saying, huh?
Yeah. So I know you guys all are adverse to sardines, but I want to tell you something. When I buy them in cans, I like the one can will be flavored with lemon, the one will have olive oil, the one will have like tomato sauce. You can get different flavors.
Like
They're
I said,
good
people
for you.
Privileged here.
Oh
privileged
my God, I'm in Taiwan.
He's not just eating sardines. He's eating sardines that have lemon flavor, coriander, a mix of spices and Italian herbs from the Caribbean and Mediterranean.
My face is filled with frustration right now.
I'm sorry. I just had to say it. You're just giving me too much.
Talking about that, I want to convince people to eat sardines, but I know it's a hard thing to convince somebody to do. Something that we talked about before was omega-3 and omega-6. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I do want to touch on it a little bit.
Shouldn't beat a horse at all. It's animal cruelty.
I'm going to ride a horse very soon.
You've been talking about horse riding for fucking the last month.
It's actually going to happen. I'm going to ride a horse. So, sardines are the fish with the highest level of omega-3 and the lowest level of mercury. That's gold in terms of information, right?
That's good, yeah.
We want to get a lot of omega-3s. We want to get. They're also really, really high in B12, right? So once again, B12 is super important. And I found out that I know we talked about it before as well, but I learned something pretty interesting, which is B12 deficiencies are pretty common among elderly people over the age of 60. And when you have a B12 deficiency, it leads to poor sensory nerve function and problems with peripheral nerves. Peripheral. How do you say that word? Peripheral.
Is it peripheral?
Peripheral, yeah.
Like your peripheral vision.
Yeah. Peripheral.
Okay.
I don't think I'm saying it right, dude.
You were saying peripheral or something. Peripheral.
Oh, God. But so it reduces your mobility, and it makes it easy to fall, and it can cause disability. So it makes me think about like my grandma, right? She fell, broke her hip, then she hurt her knee. She's had all these replacement surgeries and stuff like that. Makes me wonder. I do a lot of speculation on this podcast, as you know.
Yep.
But it makes you wonder, does she have a B12 deficiency? Because the average Western diet has a B12 deficiency. I don't know. That's a pretty bold statement. There are a lot of deficiencies, but why are elderly people suffering from Alzheimer's, dementia,
Yeah.
and lack of mobility.
Yeah.
That is really an important question that we need to address
Yeah.
on a global scale. I know I'm the United Nations spokesperson here.
Hey, fuck it. You got a voice. Use it.
But if you have if there's somebody in your family who's elderly and like they're falling down or like they don't have good mobility, that could very well be related to a B12 deficiency. And it would make sense where I'm from, because where I'm from, we don't eat seafood.
You don't eat seafood where you're from?
No, we eat some of the cold shrimp that you like get in the freezer. Shrimp cocktail.
Bubblegum shrimp?
Bubblegum shrimp. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Cold shrimp with the cocktail sauce.
Okay, yeah.
Dang, it's so good.
All right, okay.
So good.
So that's pretty much the only seafood you eat where you come from?
Correct. I don't remember ever really eating seafood.
Really?
Ever.
When you say seafood, do you like mean anything that comes out of the ocean, like fish? Or
Yeah.
anything? Really?
Not common where I come from. Not at all.
All right.
And then if we're not eating seafood and we're not eating grass-fed beef, we're eating like factory farm beef, factory farm chicken, factory farm pork. That's like the majority of the diet for the U.S. There's going to be a lot of deficiencies.
Yeah.
Not going to bore you,
That could
mother.
That could explain a lot of things.
Yeah. So high levels of omega-3 protect your cardiovascular system. What is that?
What's what?
Cardiovascular system.
Your cardiovascular system is your
You're about as good at saying that as I am at saying peripheral.
It would be how much blood your heart pumps around your body and how much oxygen is brought to and from your lungs.
Yeah. Well, we were just talking about doing those sprints, right? What are those called?
Yeah.
Suicide sprints?
Something like that, yeah.
Suicide sprints. Super efficient for cardio, right?
Yeah.
That's your cardiovascular system. So that's why we run, is
Yeah.
to improve our cardiovascular health.
So if you were to explain what is your cardiovascular system, what is it? Explain it.
I think it would be the process of your lungs oxygenating your blood. That is speculation,
Okay.
though.
Check that up right now. That'd be interesting
I think
to know.
it's blood circulation. What does cardiovascular health mean, right? Cardio. When you say I'm going to go do
Cardio's
some cardio,
heart.
that's short for cardiovascular,
Yeah,
right?
which is heart, yeah. A cardiologist is a heart specialist.
Cardiovascular health refers to the health of the heart and blood vessels. Cardiovascular disease is a group of diseases of the heart and blood vessels, including coronary heart disease, stroke, heart failure, heart arrhythmias, and heart valve problems. It's all about the heart and your blood vessels.
Okay.
So omega-3s can help with that. Running can also help with that. But if you're too lazy to run, eat a can of sardines. Omega-3 also decreases triglycerides in your blood. The word triglycerides has come up in my research quite a bit, so I wanted to define that word. Do you know what that means? The word triglyceride means fat in blood.
Fat in blood.
Fat in your blood, like fat in your blood.
Okay.
So when we have too much sugar in our blood, what happens?
When we have too much sugar in our blood, it turns to insulin.
Your pancreas secretes insulin,
insulin,
telling your body to store it as fat.
Okay.
And then too much fat in your blood can cause like blockages
like
and
stroke,
poor
like
circulation.
heart attacks.
Exactly.
Huh.
So, like I just said, if you decrease the fat in your blood, your arteries don't get blocked up. Omega-3s can help with that.
They help with decreasing the fat in your blood.
Exactly. So you don't want to have a bunch of fat in your blood. You don't want to have a bunch of sugar in your blood. You want your blood to have a healthy circulation.
I wonder, like, okay, let's say if you were getting clogged arteries or clogged veins, let's say you had a shitty diet or whatever you were smoking, can you reverse that? Can you do stuff like if you started running in the morning?
Fasting, I bet.
Would that free up your veins or your arteries of this clogged stuff?
Dude, I think it's actually very easy to reverse damage to your body. Sorry. I think it's very easy to reverse damage to your body. You just like, let's say I'm 43.
Mm-hmm.
Shitty diet. Oh, it's going to be pretty hard to come out of. But shitty diet my whole life. Just fast food every day.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of TV, lots of Netflix, not a lot of exercise. Now I'm 43 and I'm 50 pounds overweight.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor says you need to get it together. You're going to die of a heart attack. If it was me, I would start doing intermittent fasting every day for like 1 month.
Yeah.
Get the body used to running on fat.
Yeah.
Then do a 24-hour fast. Start doing some running. Start doing some cold blasts of ice baths.
Cold blasts.
There's so many things. It's really not that hard I think it's not hard to recover from abuse.
Okay.
Just most people are not willing to change.
So it can be reversed. I guess you're right there, because the doctor would say to you, like, if he was sound, as long as he wasn't Dr. Mengele from fucking Nazi Germany, that son of a bitch.
Some things can't be reversed, right? But I think your cardiovascular health can be reversed.
Okay.
The quality of it can be reversed.
Okay, I guess that makes sense. Like, you're overweight, you're going to have a heart attack. You start running, you decrease your chances of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
So back to the B12, one serving of sardines has over 3 times the amount you need per day. So if you just eat 1 can of sardines, you have 3 times the amount of B12 you need. So for us, it'd be like excessive, because we're like Not young, not old.
So
What,
just
are we
eat
middle
like
aged?
half a can?
Are we middle aged?
No.
I'm middle aged.
Well,
You're still young.
okay, if I'm planning, if I'm planning on living to be 100, which I am, then I'm
Ooh.
definitely not middle aged yet.
Dave Asprey said something like that. He's planning to live past 100 and be healthy. He's the guy who runs Bulletproof Radio.
Okay.
He's like Ben Greenfield's father.
Really?
I don't know.
I thought Ben Greenfield didn't have a father. I thought
Dave
he was
Asprey.
cast out of iron.
The truth behind Ben Greenfield. He has no father, made from aliens.
The
truth is, it's kind of like Han Solo.
Yeah.
Wait a second, not Han Solo.
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker and Obi-Wan.
That's Dave Asprey and Ben Greenfield.
I think Dave Asprey would be more like Yoda.
Okay.
I
don't
Ben
understand
Greenfield
Star
would be
Wars talk.
Luke Skywalker, but that's not cool because Luke Skywalker's cool.
What are you saying, Yank?
Nothing. Moving on. Cool, but you want to avoid sardines if you have high blood pressure, gout, or are susceptible to kidney stones. And now we're going to talk about those things and what they are.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the reason that it's bad is because sardines are high in sodium, so people with high blood pressure need to reduce sodium. Do you know what sodium is?
Sodium is like salt.
Exactly. Do you know what it does in your body?
No.
It attracts water. It soaks in water.
Okay.
So it increases the amount of water in your body. So if you have any of these problems, you actually want to have less water in your body. Oh yeah, kidney stones. I actually learned about that recently because when my ribs were broken, I started taking lots of calcium supplements. And Josh, our engineer, was like, be careful.
Mm-hmm.
You could get kidney stones. I didn't know until he said that kidney stones are a result of built up calcium, which turns into, I believe, uric acid and then causes kidney stones.
I know that. My sister's boyfriend
Yeah.
recently had kidney stones.
Really?
Yeah. Back in the
Almost
day,
everybody in my family's had them, but I've never had them. I think they're from drinking soda.
having kidney stones, like back in the day, let's say back in the 18 or 1700s, that would have been probably one of the most painful things that a man could experience was having kidney stones and what they call passing kidney stones. Passing kidney stones is where you piss them out. They pass through your fucking urinary tract, whatever like that. There was a TV show on...
Wouldn't that scrape your insides?
Oh, they piss blood out. Like it's like...
Oh, that's why you piss blood. Like in the Green Mile, right? He kept pissing blood.
When I think of kidney stones, it makes me fucking shudder. Because I watched this TV show before called Deadwood, and it was like about this town where they set up this Wild West town, and there was
My dude from Justified's in that show.
really
White cowboy dude who was also in Scream.
yes
Yeah.
Timothy Olyphant.
Yes, I love Timothy Olyphant. How do you say it?
Timothy Olyphant.
I love him, dude. Have you seen the show Justified?
No.
It's really good. He's like a cowboy U.S. Marshal.
So Timothy Olyphant, he was in the new Tarantino movie too, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He was one of the cowboys in that movie.
Was he? He's always a cowboy.
He was the killer in Scream 2, but I have a story about Timothy.
Scream 1.
No, Scream 2.
Scream.
Timothy Olyphant was the killer in Scream 2.
Matthew Lillard was the killer in 1. You're right.
Yes.
Matthew Lillard and some other guy. Oh, we're nerds.
I have a story about a time I encountered Timothy Olyphant.
What?
In Hollywood, California.
Oh my God! I encountered one of the black guys that was on his show Justified.
Really?
In the Detroit airport.
Oh shit, yeah.
Only time I've ever met a celebrity.
So anyways, yeah, so Timothy Olyphant was in that show Deadwood. Do you want me to tell you my encounter with Timothy Olyphant?
Go right ahead.
All right, so we were in Hollywood.
This is crazy. I idolize this dude because of his TV show Justified.
Okay.
I used to watch it religiously, and I was like, I want to be like him when I grow up. This was like 2 years
He
ago.
seems very cool. So I was sitting in a car in Hollywood. We were driving around Hollywood, and I think I'd just been to Freddie Roach's gym, the Wildcard Boxing Gym.
For some listeners might not know who that is. I know I did.
Freddie Roach was Manny Pacquiao's coach, boxing coach. Freddie Roach has trained many world champions. And
For our listeners who don't know who Manny Pacquiao is, I'm not trying to interrupt you.
He's a Filipino world champion boxer. He's won titles, I think, in 6 different weight divisions. He's a legend, right? He fought Floyd Mayweather, everything like that. Anyways, I was sitting in the car. I just been to that gym, just went in for a training session, met Freddie Roach, whatever. And we were driving around Hollywood, and we came to this like stoplight, and this car rolled up beside us. We were in a brand new Mustang. The guy that was with us rented the car. He could have had like a, what was it, like a, what, one of those Kias? A Ford, is it? A Kia? Like a little small car. They said they had 2 cars left for rent. One of them was like a little Kia, and one of them was a brand new Mustang convertible. He rolls back with the brand new Mustang convertible. We're like, yeah! So we headed to Hollywood. Anyways, we're at this stoplight, and this car rolls up beside us on the right-hand side. And I think I was in the front, and I just turned and looked, and it was Timothy Olyphant. And I was like, no shit, look, it's your man from Scream 2. I said to my cousin was in the back over there looking out, and he looked right at us, and he started laughing. But as he looked at us and started laughing, our car started pulling off. Like, I won't say his name, but
Wait, Timothy Olyphant started laughing?
Yeah, he looked over and started laughing because I was like, oh look, like doing the whole pointing fucking like, Tim, it's your man from Screen 2.
Instead of saying hi, you just like point at him.
Yeah, and like I was trying to tell my cousin who was in the back, you know, because we were big horror fans. I was trying to tell him, oh, it's your man from fucking Scream 2.
Yeah.
So we're driving up anyways, and we're coming up to this next night. He's like, really? Was it him in the car? I was like, yeah, man, it was him 100%. He looked right at us, like, started laughing. So we're coming up to the next light. The light goes red. I was like, yes!
No!
Boom!
Oh my
God. The light
God.
goes red. He's pulling up, and he stops just behind our car. And I'm looking in the fucking mirror, and he's just sitting there laughing. He's just sitting there in the car smiling and laughing. He knew that I'd spotted him, and he stayed just behind our car. But he was looking at us and laughing the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
Big smile on his face. So
oh, wow.
that was my encounter with Timothy
He's
Olyphant.
super fan. When was this, though? This was a long time ago, huh?
This would have been back in about 2012.
So he wasn't super
2012.
famous then?
Oh, he would have been still very well
super
known.
famous
Deadwood was already out. He was in Deadwood, that cowboy
really?
TV show.
I gotta watch Deadwood. I think I would like Deadwood.
Man,
It's been
brilliant.
recommended to me. I don't know if you like Justified or not, but it was really
I'll
good.
check it out. So why I got talking about that TV show Deadwood is because
So much for biohacking.
we were on about kidney stones and passing kidney stones.
Yeah.
And there's a scene in that TV show where one of the guys has kidney stones and he's passing the kidney stones, and they show you very vividly what it's like, and it scared me for a long time. Even when you say kidney stones today, I instantly get the flash of that scene in my head of the guy passing the kidney stone.
I guess I would think of the Green Mile. Wow.
That's horrible. I wouldn't want to have kidney stones, man.
Yeah. Another thing is gout. Mango's on his way over. He'll be here in a few minutes. Mango's my Taiwanese best friend. He always gets gout. I hope you're not mad at me for saying that. I don't think so.
He always gets gout.
But one thing that's bad for you if you have gout is a chemical, and that chemical is called purine or purines. So sardines and anchovies are something you want to avoid if you have gout because they are high in purines, and purines break down into uric acid. Uric acid is what crystallizes in your joints and causes gout. So the uric acid can cause kidney stones or it can cause gout.
So gout is what?
Gout is when uric acid crystallizes in your joints. So I know when Mango gets it, he gets it in his ankle.
And he can't walk.
And it hurts to walk on, and he gets really swollen, really inflamed. So it's just like a buildup of uric acid that causes massive inflammation.
Brought on by what? What brings this on?
What is the
diet? I guess is a big part of it, is it?
Well, if you want to avoid purines, you probably want to avoid sodium because the sodium turns into uric acid. So I bet a high salt diet would cause gout. And a lot of diets are pretty high in salt, right?
All right.
I don't know. I would definitely
check it up.
Let me figure this out. I want to know.
Because this is shit I'd want to know.
Yeah.
That's why I asked you.
I figure a lot of people have this. I actually want to know for kidney stones. Like everybody I know has had kidney stones back home. And I always heard it's from drinking pop. And I was like, maybe that's why I never got it. Because I drank pop when I was younger, but I don't now. Gout is caused by a buildup of a substance called uric acid in the blood. Nailed it, baby.
There you go.
If you produce too much uric acid or your kidneys don't filter enough out, it can build up and cause tiny, sharp crystals to form in and around joints. These crystals can cause the joint to become inflamed, red, and swollen and painful. We already knew that, right?
So brought on by what? By a bad diet? By lack of exercise? What brings on gout?
It's a form of arthritis. I don't care about the symptoms. I want the cause. Okay, it keeps saying the same thing.
Do you know what else is a form of arthritis?
Yes.
Arthritis.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just amusing
Your body
myself over
produces uric acid when it breaks down purines. Purines are also found in certain foods like red meat and organ meat such as liver. What? I'm always preaching how good liver is. Purine-rich seafoods include anchovies, sardines, mussels, scallops, trout, and tuna. Alcoholic beverages, especially beer and drinks sweetened with fruit sugar, fructose, promote higher levels of uric acid. Okay, I think this is what we want is the risk factors. You're more likely to develop gout if you have high levels of uric acid. So if you eat a diet rich in red meat and shellfish, if you're overweight. Certain diseases like untreated high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, heart and kidney diseases, these can cause gout. Low-dose aspirin, family history, more common in men because women tend to have lower uric acid levels. After menopause, however, women's uric acid levels approach those of men.
What are we talking about? Common sense here? No, uric acid. Sorry. You said it was more common in men. I thought you meant common sense. Sorry.
Jeez, it doesn't really sound super specific, man. It just sounds like people with too much uric acid are likely to develop kidney stones.
Stay away from acid.
But it sounds like it's from a good diet. You heard what I said, right? Eating a diet rich in red meat and shellfish and drinking beverages sweetened with fruit, sugar, fructose. Okay, so I eat a lot of red meat, but I don't do anything with sugar.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think it comes down to diet. If you're not eating good, high salt,
So basically, your diet can be
high
the
salt,
cause.
high sugar. Sounds like high salt, high sugar, high consumption of beer, specifically beer in terms of alcohol.
Okay.
So
My
if you're-
sister's boyfriend got gout before in his foot here in Taiwan when they came to visit,
really,
and he drinks loads of beer and he eats loads of meat.
huh.
So maybe that's it.
Could be cause of kidney stones. Oh, so for kidney stones, causes can include drinking too little water, exercise too much or too little, obesity, weight loss, sugary, eating food with too much salt or too much sugar. So
Can cause kidney stones.
So I think I was kind of right about that. Too much salt or too much sugar can cause a buildup of uric acid, and the uric acid contributes to kidney stones and gout.
And I really hope I never get kidney stones. Although now I imagine they've probably got better ways of passing the kidney stones because they're like literally
I don't
stones.
know. I was talking to my dad. He said he had them.
You
He
could
said
maybe-
it was terrible.
Oh man.
You probably just have to take pain pills. I don't really know.
Jeez.
So, if you still want the benefits of fish, but you have one of these conditions, you should look into something like a fish oil supplement or white-fleshed fish like cod because they're low in purines. So you don't have to have that concern about uric acid. Cool. All right, one thing I wanted to tell you.
Go
You
for it.
said coconut oil is the best oil to cook with.
I never said anything about cooking with coconut oil.
You didn't say that?
No.
I could have swore
I
we had a
said-
podcast, and in the podcast you said
nope.
coconut oil is number one.
Nope. I said palm oil was bad. I never talked about coconut oil. You talked about coconut oil and gave me a spoonful of it, and then you also told me all the things that were good about coconut oil. I never said shit about it. I said I like to drink coconut water.
And maybe it was
and
Josh.
I
It
said
was-
palm oil was bad.
I think somebody said it was good to cook with, and I said, bullshit, it's not good to cook with. Well, whoever it was, I would like to apologize because you were right.
Don't apologize to them.
I did some research, and this is pretty interesting. There's 3 kinds of fat: monounsaturated fat, polyunsaturated fat, and saturated fat. Let me say that again. Polyunsaturated fat, monounsaturated fat, and saturated fat. 3 kinds of fats. Saturated fat is resistant to heat, meaning it's good to cook with. You with me?
In body, not in mind.
Saturated fat. Saturated fat is good to cook with
Okay.
because it's resistant to heat. It will not oxidize. And the reason we talked about vegetable oils in the previous podcast is because we're like, why are vegetable oils bad? You were right about that. You said because they oxidize. They have low smoke points. They burn. You didn't say that either?
I definitely wouldn't have said the word oxidize.
I think-
Yank, you know I'm not that educated to be coming out with
Oh.
words like oxidize.
Well, the reason vegetable oils are bad is because they oxidize. They have a low smoke point, and they burn, and they cause carcinogens. But when you cook with something that's high in saturated fat, it's resistant to heat. Coconut oil, number 1. It's over 90% saturated fat. Saturated fat is what you want when you cook, and it also makes you feel more full. So if you want to so if you're on a diet and you're not eating carbs, but you want to feel full, cook with coconut oil. You don't have to worry about carcinogens, and you're going to feel extra full. And the coconut oil can boost your metabolism, cause you to burning fat faster.
So you're saying that coconut oil is a good oil to be cooking with?
Best source.
The best source.
one. Number 1. Because
Okay.
it's the highest.
Now I wish I did say that.
Yeah. It's the highest
But I didn't.
percentage oil and saturated fat. 12% of avocado oil is saturated fat. Okay, I wanted to double check that. So coconut oil is the best because it smells. But butter is like second. Butter's 68% saturated. Coconut oil is 90% saturated. So butter's pretty good too, but butter has tiny amounts of sugar and proteins. And if you burn them, or if you make the heat too high, you can burn them. Coconut oil's the best. Butter's a close second. But if you heat it too much, it can cause some of those same carcinogens because there's
Okay.
sugars and proteins.
All right.
Actually, if you want even better, a better cooking substance, you want to use clarified butter or ghee. Ghee.
Do you know what
G.
do you know-
Ghee.
do you know what ghee means in Ireland?
No, is it a Gaelic word?
I don't know if it's a Gaelic word.
It's a Gaelic word.
It refers to a woman's you know what.
Oh my. Oh
from
my.
you know where.
You know what from a you know where.
And it's also a piece of clothing apparatus that Brazilian jiu-jitsu
That's correct.
practitioners wear. A ghee.
Ghee. Do you know what ghee is?
I just told you what ghee is.
It's clarified butter where they heat it and remove the lactose and the proteins. Now, this is pretty interesting because Dave Asprey, the founder of Bulletproof Coffee, Bulletproof Radio, Bulletproof everything, he founded it. The
What's
reason
his name? Dave Ass.
Dave Ass me about it.
Dave Ass.
He went to Nepal
Sorry, Dave.
and he was hiking and he was hungry and he stopped at a village and he drank some tea that was butter tea.
Butter tea.
And he got really satiated, and he got satiated, so he wasn't hungry anymore.
Satiated, for all you uneducated people out there, including myself, means to be full.
Uneducated fucks. So he felt really satiated. Then he came home, did a bunch of research, became a biohacker, and found that, butter made me feel full. And also, the reason it made me feel full is because it switched my body from burning sugar to burning fat. And it's actually a really efficient form of fuel. And so he started marketing Bulletproof Coffee, which is a mixture of coconut oil, grass-fed butter, and black coffee. And what he promotes people to do is drink a cup of that every morning and then fast for as long as possible before your next meal, and then make that a keto meal. He got that idea from hiking in Nepal. Last time I went to India, I went to the Himalayan mountains. And when I got up there close to Nepal, sure enough, they had some butter tea at a roadside tent in the middle of the night, so I had to get some.
And what does the butter tea taste like?
Oily.
Does it taste like tea? Do they use tea bags? Not tea bags, but do they use tea in this butter tea?
I think so. Yeah, because I think the driver was drinking it instead of coffee. He was drinking butter tea. But if you think about it, if you're doing we were doing a 15-hour drive, right?
Yeah.
So the driver stops and drinks some butter tea. Great idea, because then he's not going to be hungry while we're driving. So if you have something you need to do for a long period of time, you don't want hunger to get in the way, you eat some butter or eat some coconut oil, and it will take care of your satiation,
Or grab a Snickers.
Or grab.
That's what they say on the Snickers.
Yeah, when my childhood best friend came out here, part of going to a different country is dealing with the culture shock. And the food culture shock is huge, and I've experienced it many times where, like, after a certain amount of days, I'm just like, I can't take it anymore. I need something American. I need, like, a regular cheeseburger, or I'm going to freak out. I'm going to freak out. And he was kind of going through that, and I could sense it. And every time he started going through it, he would go to 7-Eleven and buy a Snickers. It's like food culture shock is a thing.
I've always liked Snickers for hiking. It's my go-to thing. I don't know why. It's always has been. I got a couple of Snickers in my bag and some water. I'm ready to go.
But the Snickers would melt, dude.
It depends on where you are. If you're hiking in the fucking snow, I just climbed Jade Mountain a couple months ago, and you know how many Snickers I bought? Like fucking 8.
A 6-pack.
Like fucking 8 Snickers with me.
Excellent. Well, all right. So you heard it here, folks. If you're going on a long hike or a long trip, you can take butter as recommended by the Yank, or you can eat Snickers as recommended by Paddy. You choose which one will be healthier.
A stick of butter or a Snickers?
How about this? I gave you 10 Snickers. You give me a bowl of butter. We both start eating and see who has a heart attack first. I like these challenges. So, yeah, I wanted to kind of, because the last episode we did on vegetable oils, I was very angry and frustrated, and I felt like the FDA was controlling my research, and I couldn't find a lot of good, stable information. Mm-hmm. So now I have some pretty good, stable information. A lot of it is what I thought in the first place, which vegetable oils, they have a lot of free radicals, and when those free radicals build up, they cause oxidative damage, which leads to cancer. And people over 60 have a weaker defense system to this. So for them, it's even more important not to cook with vegetable oil. Found out coconut oil is number 1, and the reason it's number 1 is because it's high in saturated fat, and saturated fat is resistant to heat. Butter is also 68% saturated fat, so both of those are pretty high in saturated fat, thus resistant to heat. And then ghee is even better. And if you guys want to do some fast, but the fast is like, I know how it is. Fasting is hard. It's really hard. So if you want to find a way to cheat your way into it, have a coffee with some butter and some coconut oil. For me, I can't stomach the butter, so what I'll do is just put some coconut oil in my coffee with some ice cubes if it's hot outside, and maybe some ginger powder or some maca powder. Blend it up, and then it's like this coffee smoothie. It's so good. It's so good. Damn. So, guys, just always know that, I'm always telling people to do things like, I can't do it. There are ways to cheat at everything. If you can't take a cold shower, start with hot and work your way as cold as you can handle it. If you can't fast, have some butter, have some coconut oil. There are ways to cheat life. That's what biohacking is. It's cheating the body.
Yeah, exactamundo.
All right. Well, you know what? I think we're going to roll out. Because it's Saturday, it's sunny, and it is time to party.
Yeah.
I hope you're doing the same thing.
All right. Everybody, please follow the Paddy and the Yank podcast on iTunes, on Spotify. Give a review. Follow the Instagram, Paddy and the Yank _podcast. Give us some feedback. Let us know what you think.
And everyone, I want you to go right now and give your loved one a big, fat, wet smoochie. And on that note,
smoochy boochies.
We're out. This one's dedicated to the ladies.